everybody, I'm Terry Stiles and welcome to Oxford News This Week. On this edition, distribution of money fundraising funds finally happens, and Addison Township looking forward to one waste hauler. All that and more, the Oxford News begins right now. In the spirit of preserving roads and cutting down on noise, many communities have switched to using only one trash hauler, and Addison Township is exploring the possibility to do the same. Based on an Addison Township Board decision, if you are an Addison Township resident, you can expect a simple yes or no survey to soon land on your doorstep. Currently, the township has a fair and open market where residents can choose their own hauler based on your needs. While the board realizes a single hauler takes choice away from the residents, it could result in lower costs in spite of the competitive pricing options of multi-haulers, and could result in reducing wear, noise pollution, air emissions, and fuel consumption, even without the competitive pricing options. Residents can return to their survey to the township by mail, Dropbox, or online. One survey per household, and you are asked to return that survey by February 28th. Chuck?
Addison Township is also looking to upgrade Lake George Park by creating an ADA-compliant trail throughout the park. Last month, the board approved the township to match up to $24,000 in hopes of receiving up to $85,000 in grant dollars from Oakland County Parks. According to Township Supervisor Bruce Pearson, the township's applying for a grant to put in a path from the parking lot to the lake. A dock will also be installed to launch kayaks. If successful, this grant would be one of several that have benefited the park in the past, including an ADA-compliant dock and debris removal for the parking lot. The park was obtained in 2009 through the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund for $428,000.
The Oxford Township Board has managed to kick the cannabis down the road. Last week, 2 agenda items pertaining to medical marijuana businesses in the township were removed following the distribution of flyers with false information regarding the agenda. The 2 items were slated of zoning ordinance amendments from the Planning Commission, which would regulate how and where medical marijuana high-capacity growers and provision centers would operate. The anonymous flyer falsely stated the board is leaning towards allowing 6 facilities along M24. Actually, it is the Village of Oxford who has allowed 6 facilities to move into the community.
The state of Michigan has a new grant program for businesses impacted by COVID-19. The program is offering $409,000 in a business grant relief program designed to help certain Michigan businesses in operation before October 1, 2019. They could receive a percentage of their loss in total state sales. Businesses that began operating between October 1, 2019 and June 1, 2020 could receive a grant equal to 25% of specified costs. Applications will be available at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, March 1 at www.michigan.org.
A combination of memorial funds for the November 30 high school shooting victims has raised almost $2 million, but it may be several months until the victims receive any funds, as it has taken some time for a local committee to be formed under the guidance of a national organization who will oversee the distribution process. Initially, the Oxford Bank and Genesis Credit Union established the Oxford Community Memorial and Victims Fund. In an effort to organize how the funds would be divided, the Village of Oxford Council agreed to allow the National Compassion Fund and distribution process This is an organization which grew out of a similar tragedy, such as Parkland, Florida, and Santa Fe, Texas. Oxford will be its 21st fund direction. Currently, the former institution, along with the village, are donations directly to the NCF Fund, which is at oxfordcommunityvictimsfund.com. Victims must proactively apply to receive funds.
A preliminary hearing in a criminal case against Jennifer and James Crumley began last week. The case to allow the judge to determine whether a case has merit. If so, it will be bound over to circuit court for criminal proceedings. Oakland County prosecutors are tasked with providing sufficient amounts of convincing that the Crumleys are possibly guilty of involuntary manslaughter due to their handling of their son prior to the November 30th Oxford High School shooting. The judge ended the 8-hour hearing over concerns the prosecution withheld evidence. The hearing will continue on February 24.
Last week, the VFW Post 334 delivered to Oxford firefighters and Oakland County Sheriff the VFW National Life Saving Award for each of their work with the November 30 high school tragedy. The certificate is for grateful recognition and appreciation for the prompt life-saving action while protecting others in the line of duty. Their timely action resulted in saving lives. And with that, that's it for this portion of Oxford News This Week. But don't go away, because Dave Kenny will be next with Auto Talk and Science in the News, and then Chuck will be back with sports.
Welcome to Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from Automotive News. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration on February 15th said it's finalized a rule allowing automakers to install adaptive driving beam headlights on new vehicles in response to a 2013 petition by Toyota Motor North America. The rule, signed February 1st by Deputy Administrator Stephen Cliff, satisfies a requirement in the bipartisan infrastructure law passed by Congress last year. The law directs the agency to issue a final rule within 2 years amending Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 108, which regulates automotive lighting, signaling, and reflective devices by including performance-based standards for the vehicle headlight systems and allowing adaptive driving beam headlights. Toyota had asked the agency for a rule making to amend the standard by giving automakers the option of equipping vehicles with the more advanced systems. The automaker did not immediately have comment, however. NHTSA prioritizes the safety of everyone on our nation's roads, whether they are inside or outside a vehicle, Cliff said. New technologies can help advance that mission, Cliff said in a statement. NHTSA is issuing this final rule to help improve safety and protect vulnerable road conditions, he says. Adaptive driving beam headlights provide more illumination while not glaring other vehicles, the agency said. The technology has been permitted on vehicles in Europe since 2006. NHTSA first published a notice of proposed rulemaking on the topic in October of 2018. While it is encouraging to see NHTSA issuing a regulation allowing advanced driving beam, it should be pointed out that the U.S. has lagged far behind other countries in the introduction of this technology, Michael Brooks, acting executive director for the Center for Auto Safety, said in a statement to Automotive News. NHTSA needs to move faster to update safety standards, particularly those with universal support inside and outside the industry. The Alliance for Automotive Innovation, a group that represents Toyota and most other automakers in the U.S., urged NHTSA in October to expedite a final rule allowing the technology in U.S. vehicles. The Alliance has supported NHTSA's efforts on the adaptive beam rulemaking and has actively participated in the rulemaking process through public comment, John Bazzella, CEO of the Alliance, said in a statement. Research shows the safety benefits of this technology, which can help provide enhanced down-road visibility without increasing glare on incoming vehicles. We are reviewing the final rule, Bazzella said, and look forward to continuing to work with NHTSA and other stakeholders on our shared priority for a safer transportation future. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and we'll be right back.
Do you love local sports? Whether it's Oxford High School or Parks and Rec, you can buy copies of each game. To purchase your copy, call us at 248-628-9658 or give us an email at manager@occtv.org or talk to us at the next game. Hopefully we'll see you there.
The Oxford High School varsity basketball teams had polar opposite results last week. The boys continued a losing streak, while the Lady Cats pulled through the bulk of their games. First, the girls started the week at Rochester High School, knocking the Falcons out with a 33-29 win. Freshman forward Nevaeh Wood scored 9 points and 4 rebounds, while sophomore guard Braylee Elling scored 6 points. Earlier, the team played against Berkeley for a late season home opener, but lost 31-40. They bounced back, however, in Romeo with a 31-20 win. Key players across the week for the girls were freshman guard Allison Huffstedler, junior guard Miranda Wyniemko, and freshman guard Sophia Rabb. On the boys' court, they suffered 2 losses. The first was Little Caesars Arena, loss of 49-56 against the Stony Creek Cougars. Coach Laidlaw chalks up the losses in part to an ever-present march of turnovers. The upside, according to Laidlaw, was that it was still an awesome experience for the team, as all 13 players got a chance to play on the Pistons hardwood. Key players for the boys last week were senior center Bryce Essman against Seaholm, freshman guard Jake Champagne, also against Seaholm, and senior guard Alex Brown against Stony Creek. The LC game was part of a larger Oxford night hosted by the Pistons. Players got to watch the game from the suite and meet Pistons players Cade Cunningham and Coach Dwayne Casey. That's it for this week of sports. If you didn't get a chance to see the home games, catch them on our YouTube or Rumble sites at Oxford Community TV, YouTube, or Rumble. I'm Chuck Cameron, and that's it for sports.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Some spiders can pick up sounds in the air using their webs as acoustic antenna. And because the spider silk responds so precisely to vibrating air molecules, they may act as the most sensitive eardrum in the natural world. We already know that spiders can detect prey tangled in their webs by sensing vibrations in the silk using touch organs around their leg joints. Now, Jean Ju at the Argonne National Laboratory in Illinois and his colleagues have found evidence that bridge spiders can use their webs to sense sounds traveling through the air from several meters away. The researchers placed 60 bridge spiders in glass chambers containing wooden frames on which the spiders wove their circular webs. The team then played sounds with a frequency of 200 hertz, similar to those made by buzzing insects, straight onto each spider and its web for a duration of 3 seconds from a loudspeaker located about 3 meters away. Over Over the next few seconds, 90% of the spiders responded by either crouching, lying flat, lifting their forelegs, or turning slightly, suggesting that they had detected the distant sounds. By projecting sounds either from the left or right of the webs, the team found that some of the spiders could even sense exactly where the noises were coming from. 5 out of the 12 tested spiders pivoted towards the direction of the sound source, while the others, well, they stayed put. The team explored if webs could act as acoustic centers by playing sounds with frequencies ranging from 100 to 10,000 hertz onto the webs. Using a laser to map the nanoscale movements of the webs as sounds were projected onto them, they discovered that the silk strands could move at the same speed as the air molecules immediately around them, transmitting the full array of frequencies tested. This makes the webs far more sensitive than a typical animal eardrum, which has a membrane response instead of to bulk sounds in the air. The frequency range sensitivity that is, means the webs can detect sounds made by chirping crickets, birds, and the buzzing wings of insects. There was a possibility that the spiders detected sounds from the air using an unknown body part. To rule this out, the team used a tiny speaker to direct sound onto just one small area of the spider's web away from where the spider sat. These sounds were weak enough to be undetectable in the air once they reached the spider's body. They found that 1/3 of the spiders still crouched in response to the vibrations, suggesting they could hear through their webs alone. The team speculates that bridge spiders and other spider species may even tune their web design to filter out local background noise such as the wind, although investigating this idea will require more research. So back to the webs, guys. Well, that's it for Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us on Oxford News this week, and I want to thank Chuck for joining me, and we finally got to do this together.
We did.
Last week you were by yourself, the week before I was by myself. We finally were able to organize that. Chuck is a volunteer at OCTV, so we take what we can get from you.
We do.
And thank you for doing that, and thank Joe Calhoun behind the camera. He's been dancing back and forth in the studio trying to get us on the air, and thank you for joining us. If you want to learn more about these stories and others, you can go to the Oxford Leader newspaper, or you can go to the Charter Township of Oxford. We get stories from there. You can also go to our website, which is occtv.org, or Oxford Community Television, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Thanks for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
Take care.
Have a good day.